Welcome to the channel. Today is pumpkin planting day. But first, before I can even get any seeds in the ground, we're gonna have to go and disc up some of the field areas that we're gonna be doing because they just kind of grew up with grass. They haven't been worked in a little bit. So I need to do that, and unfortunately I have to plant all these by hand, kind of like we did last year. I might try the pipe method again if the soil is dry enough, which it should be. We haven't really had a lot of rain, so there's a bunch of different plot areas that we're going to be doing, at least 2, 3, 4-ish, and the one area is pretty good size. So we'll get started on that. We'll disc first, and we got a decent amount of seeds, so I guess we'll disc everything up. If the seeds don't go that far and cover everything, so be it. It is what it is, not a huge deal. We'll go down to the one small area, then we'll go to the biggest area after that, and we'll see what we can do. I do have the gangs on the disc set. Kind of the back one is on the least aggressive setting. The front gangs are, you know, not really in the middle, but they're kind of moderate. I have one more notch here. I could go to less aggressive. I have a feeling because of the grass being tall down here in the one section that I'm probably gonna have to make the front gangs here at least a little aggressive for the first, you know, pass or two, and then we can go back to this. But we're gonna try it this way first just to see how it does. If not, again, I can change the gangs to more aggressive to tear up that grass and get it to disc up and rip up better. I'm trying to be a little bit more prepared this year as well, because last year we got pumpkins out probably the end of July, I wanna say. So we're basically a whole month earlier than we were last year, which is a huge plus because the pumpkins last year were not ready basically until close to Halloween, and that was just way too late. We did sell quite a few pumpkins, but it was definitely way too late. People want the pumpkins kind of in September for fall decor and stuff like that, carving. So we're a whole month sooner. They should turn out a lot better, a lot quicker, and we can maybe sell a lot more of them. So that's the plan, that's the goal. Hopefully it should work out. This is the first little patch that we're gonna do. We did try planting pumpkins here last year. They didn't really turn out hardly at all. I'm not really sure why. But now this year we plowed this ground, so hopefully we flipped the nutrients over. I'm not sure. But they just really didn't grow. The weeds kind of came up and shaded out the pumpkin plants, I guess. We do have some sweet corn in here too, but that's at the furthest end, and there again, the weeds are kind of, I mean, the corn's taller than the weeds, but this does not have a lot of grass, so I think the gangs on the disc are gonna be fine, but we'll see what happens here and see how well it works out. Should be okay. See how well this does. Yeah, I mean, it's not really ripping it. Quite honestly, I might have to adjust our top link here because it looks like the fronts aren't really digging in as much as the backs. Unfortunately, it's just not doing what I want it to do, so we're gonna have to change the front gangs. little bit better. I could change the back as well, make them aggressive, but I think I'm just gonna try and run it the way it is with the front aggressive, and then the back will be kind of like a smoother, kind of level it off. We'll see what that does. There's a weed right there that it left, but it might have went between the discs. But it's definitely chopping it up a little bit better. This is a little bit harder of a pack here, so it's probably gonna do better once we get to some areas that aren't as hard. The first little plot we started on, that's pretty good. A couple little sections of grass, and we did on the other side back there too. Now we'll move on to probably the biggest plot, which is probably where we're gonna use. We may even go through all our seed, I don't know. We have quite a lot of pumpkin seeds, so we'll see. Plant by hand, this many definitely does suck. I probably could rig up my hand seeder and tape up some of the holes on one of the discs and do it that way, but I don't know. And here is the humongo plot, which basically goes from right here. You can kind of see the difference where the corn's planted in here, runs all the way out to about right in there. So it goes about halfway out to the field, then cuts back. This is just a patch that was too wet, but now we really haven't had rain, so this should all be dry. And I'm gonna use this to plant pumpkins. So this should rip a lot better. This is a lot better dirt. This one's done. Little bit of green out there. It's chopped up pretty good though. We're gonna move on to the last one. I don't think we're gonna have to do anywhere else because this is gonna put a hurting on the seed just with this. Well, we're gonna start with the biggest field first, which is gonna suck doing it by hand. This is what we've got. Whole quart-sized bag full of pumpkin seeds. We're gonna try the pipe method. I don't know how well it's gonna work. This is a 1-inch pipe. Last year I used a 3/4. I guess I'll find out. It's dry, so it should work, especially if it's a little bit on the deeper side. Again, this is a very big field, so this could take a while. I am on the last row of this field, basically running out kind of through like this. You can see my steps. The camera's probably not picking it up, but I'm kind of spacing the seeds about 4 feet-ish, give or take. And then same thing, give or take, this way. I could potentially fit another row on this side, but it's going to be putting me close to the corn. And once this corn gets tall anyway, it probably wouldn't shade the pumpkin plants, but number one, I don't really want them vining out through there. And number two, if I have to come down here and spray like a post-emerge or anything like that, which again, shouldn't reach over here, but if I get it really close and my booms are extended a little bit further, or if the wind's blowing a breeze over here, it could potentially hit that whole row and kill it anyway. So this is going to be our last row, and let me tell you, this took a long time. It's about 7:20 right now, so we probably started about 6 o'clock, which I guess an hour and a half to do all this by hand is not terrible. I tried the pipe method. It'd work in some spots, and other spots it just wouldn't. So, and then I ended up having to bend over and push them in anyway. So I think rather than just doing it twice, it's just easier to do it first. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow, I'm sure, but I know there's a better way, one way or another somehow, whether it be pulling a wagon with the four-wheeler and somebody sitting in the back with a wagon and placing them in by hand that way, or a seeder with a plate, I don't know, something. Well, I'm glad I'm done with that. And we got a lot of seed left. However, this bag was completely full to the top, so we used about half of them. At this point, I don't even really think I need to go plant anything else, but I do have other areas tilled up that are nowhere near this big, so we'll probably just use up some more of the seed just in case for some reason something weird happens with this, or the deer mess with them. This field is done, if you want to call it a field, patch, whatever. I only did 4 rows here, mainly for the simple fact that, as you can see, it's a little darker there. It stays wet up on this top side. I don't know if there's a spring or something up top. So it's really not going to pay me to even try and go up higher than what I did. So we're up, I believe, this far anyway. There's 4 rows in here, so that'll be sufficient. Now we'll go into the last plot and get this done. Looks like it's time to get up here and pick some berries. Pretty good. It is loaded with them in here. And there's a bunch ready. This section in here, I did it real quick. It's like really, really dry. Only gonna be able to fit about 2 rows in here, but it's long, so we'll see what happens. The final seed has been placed. And we still have a lot of seeds left. A lot. A lot more than we had last year. This is a lot more than we actually had last year in general anyway. We definitely planted a lot more too. So I'm glad that's over. I'll be sore in the morning, as I said, constant bending over, but I'll have to try and research and find a better way. And if you guys know a better way, leave it in the comment section below, because I would love to hear some ideas. And Brian G, I'll be sure to send you the rest of these in the mail. I know you love pumpkins. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.